Hi everyone. This is a short video to talk about the tax tables and the tax table questions, and also an attempt to try to make up for the mistake I was making in class today. I really apologize for that, and thanks again to Nabina for pointing out that I was using the wrong table. In any case, what I've done here is put the tax table questions next to the tax table handout so that we could look at them both at the same time. So if I look at this, the very beginning here on this page, I put in a reminder that when we're figuring out the taxable income, we need to subtract the standard deduction, do gross pay minus the standard deduction, and that will tell us our taxable income. As I mentioned in class, the truth is that there are many, many deductions that are used to determine your taxable income, but we are only going to use the standard deduction. And that's the standard deduction based on your filing status. The other thing to keep in mind is that when you're figuring Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes, those are calculated on your gross income, not on your taxable income. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first question, and it's with Jose Lopez. It says, Jose Lopez is a single father of 2 children. He meets the criteria for a head of household. In 2015, he will make $47,497.55. And that means that his gross pay will be $47,497.55. So I want to look at the information that we have in here. The information that's important to us is that he's a single father, and that gives us a little bit of information. But most importantly, it says that he is head of household, and that tells us that we need to pay attention to his standard deduction here for head of household. So if I look over here, I find head of household, and I find that his standard deduction is $9,250, and that's it right here, $9,250. So for me to find his taxable income, I have to subtract his gross income, minus the standard deduction. So there it is. We'll see. 47497.55 minus 9250. And there we get his taxable income of $38,247.55. So now when I look for his federal withholding tax, I need to find the correct table. This one is for individual taxpayers. So I need to come over here and go down to the table that says head of household. And here it is. Here's head of household. This is the table we're looking for. So we can see that his taxable income is $38,247.55. And so I need to look over at this table here and find that number. And I can see the first one is 0 to $13,150. The second row is $13,151 to $50,000, and that's where we are right here, $38,000. So I want to follow this over here and find that his tax, I'm going to figure out his tax. It's $1,315 plus 15% of the amount over $13,150. So 15% of the amount over $13,150. That means that I have to find the difference between $38,000 and $13,000. So I have that written down here, and I'm using the math language for that. It's 1,315 plus 0.15, remember that's the same as 15%, 0.15 times the difference here, $38,247.55 minus $13,150. So I figure that out down here. Again, 1,315 plus 0.15 times 25,097.55. And I get that amount here, and that helps me to find his federal withholding tax here. because I'm adding 1,315 plus this number, this 15% of 25,000. When I get to the Social Security tax, that's going to be a straight calculation that's just multiplication. And that is, Social Security says over here, let me get to the bottom here. For Social Security, it says that Social Security, the tax rate is 6.2%. And that means that for Social Security taxes, we have to pay 6.2% of the total income, of the gross income. And so 6.2% written as a decimal is the same as 0.062. So 0.062 is the same as 6.2%. So I'm going to go ahead and just multiply right across. 0.062 times $47,497.55, and that is equal to 2944.8481. So money is only 2 digits, and so I'm going to look at the hundredths column, the thousandths column here. It's over 5, so I'm going to add 1 here, and that's going to make this number 2,944.85, and there it is. We do the same kind of calculation for Medicare tax. Medicare tax is 1.45% for Medicare. It's right here, 1.45% for Medicare. So when we write that out as a decimal, it's 0.145. So we'll figure that one out too. 0.0145 times $47,497.55, and that is 688.714475. Money is only 2 digits there, so I'm going to go to the thousands column, and it's under 5, so I don't need to round up, and my answer will become $688.71. So that's for Jose Lopez. And so notice first thing we did was find what his filing status was before we could go on to do any kind of calculating. Now for the next one, we have Betty Jones is a single person who has no children. In 2015, she will make $67,234.92. So again, I find my important piece of information there. How about that? She's a single person, and that's going to take us into the box for individual taxpayer. It's at the top, and here it is, individual taxpayer. She has no children, and that means that her filing status is going to be single, and her standard deduction is going to be $6,300. So let's pull Betty into the area here. So here's Betty. This is her standard deduction. Her income was $67,234.92. In order to find her taxable income, we have to take her gross income and subtract her deduction, and this is her taxable income. So we're going to find that income over here in the individual taxpayers, $60,934. So over here I'm going to look for that on the chart. So there's 0 to 9,000, 9,000 to 37,000, and then 37,000 to 90. Okay, so 60,934 is between these two numbers here. So this is our row for Betty's tax. Can go ahead and write that down. See if I can make it so that they match up a little bit better. So here we are for her 5156.25 plus 25% of the amount over 37,450. So I have that right here. Here's my 0.25 times $60,934.92 minus 37,450. And so I'm going to do this calculation all the way down until I end up with a federal withholding tax of $11,027.48. The Social Security tax, again, is going to be taken right on her gross income, and we're going to do the calculation at 0.062. Same thing for Medicare tax. We have the 1.5 0.0145 times, let's see, $67,234.92, and here we come up with that same number, 974.906. Money is only 2 digits, so I want to go to the thousands column. It's over 5, so I'm going to round up 1 and change this to $974.91. So hopefully this video can help you a little bit figuring out things like filing status. If I go to the next one, it says Dong Tran is a married man, but he and his wife file individual taxes. He does not meet the criteria for head of household. For that reason, he will be filing jointly. As a single person, his standard deduction will be $6,300. We find the next question down. Let's see. Alicia Mercado is a single mother of 2 children. She meets the criteria for head of household. Great. So we can see head of household. Her standard deduction is going to be $9,250. And then you can run those numbers straight from there. And we'll take her off of the head of household. Let's see if I did that one right. Let's see, her taxable income will be 100. I did it wrong. Oh no, that's Philomena Barnett, this one. Alicia Mercado, her taxes, head of household, she's at 50,400. She's right here. Yeah, 6,872 plus 25%. Phew, I'm lucky there. And the last one is Philomena Barnett, is a single taxpayer with no children. That makes her an individual at $6,300 for a standard deduction. Now, the only special note to make about Social Security, is this one. If a person makes over $118,000, somebody makes over $118,000, they don't have to pay taxes on any amount over $118,000 in income. So if they make $125,000, they only pay Social Security on $118,500. Same, which is different from the rest of the taxes. Social Security is the only one that is like that, and that's why in the question here for Philomena Barnett, she makes way over $118,000. But she doesn't pay tax on all of it. She only has to pay up to $118,500. That's just a weirdness from our tax code. I'm going to go ahead and put a copy of the answers into Canvas, into WAMAP, and I will also upload this video, and hopefully it helps you. Okay.